I'm Alan Mohler with Mohler Mixed Martial Arts. My partner, Joe Brunson. We're going to be going over guillotine from guard. Now we're going to be doing arm in guillotine and we're going to be doing arm out guillotine. So it kind of depends on how tight your partner is on you. That determines whether you're going to be able to do arm in or arm out. Alright, so I have guard position on my partner. If my partner's hands are on me, I want to make sure I either shove them off by over the top or under. Either way, it don't matter. Now, I want to grab his neck and his wrist, dropping my feet to the mat. As I set up, putting all of my weight on my forearm, I want to scoot my hip backwards to make space for my guillotine. So look at my hip. It's scooted all the way back. So now I'm able to set upright and I'm not leaning backwards trying to lock this on. So you want to be able to set straight up, reaching around your partner's neck. Your wrist should not be on the side of their neck. You should have enough arm so the skinny part of your wrist is going to be right in the middle of their throat. Now, I have what we call arm out guillotine, because my hand is in front of his arm. If my hand was behind his arm, that would be arm in guillotine choke. But right now we're doing arm out, and I'm going to grab my hand just like this, guys. And as I grab my hand, I'm going to float my elbow over his back, because if I keep it here with his right hand, he'll grab the top of my wrist and he'll shove my arm down and back his head out. So I want to make sure that my elbow's up so he can't grab my wrist. Now I'm going to lean a little bit to the choke-in arm. And I'm going to relock my guard. And then all I do is arch for the submission. Again, that was arm out guillotine. So keep in mind, the only difference now is his arm is in. See, he's tight to me, and I can't put my hand in front of his arm, so I'm putting my hand behind. And again, I'm grabbing my wrist the same way as I did before. And I have to get enough arm around his neck so that the thin part of my wrist is in the front of his throat. And as I make my grab this time, I have to tuck my chin to his back, and I want to lean to the choke-in arm. And as I lean to that arm, I recapture my guard for the guillotine choke. So whatever arm you're using, whether it's the left arm or the right arm on your guillotine, you gotta lean a little bit to that choke-in arm. So if my left arm is choking, I'm gonna lean to my left side. Notice that elbow is up, because if the elbow's down, he'll grab the top of my wrist and he'll push his head back. All right, so again, I have closed guard. I'm holding my partner's neck and wrist. If he's here, I have to shove his arms off, quickly grab the wrist and the neck to give myself a moment to snap that head down and go for my guillotine choke. I drop my guard, and as I set up, my hip is going to scoot backwards. If his head is coming up, I have to head snap that head down, reaching around his neck. Now I can either go with my hand in front for arm out, or if he's tight to me here, I'm going to go arm in. So if I go arm in, my chin stays tight to his back, and since my right arm is choking him, I'm going to lean to my right side and recapture my guard for the arm in guillotine choke. So guys, there is arm out, there is arm in. Either one is real effective. You got to keep the thin part of that wrist in the middle of your partner's throat. Common mistake is you don't get enough arm around, and then they'll tell you, well, I felt more of a neck crank. So you got to make sure that you get enough arm over so the thin part of that wrist is in the middle of their throat. All right, arm out, guillotine, I float that elbow up. I don't have to have my chin touching their back. RME and guillotine, I don't have to worry about lifting that elbow up. And I have to make sure my chin is touching the back of their spine the whole time. And you relock your guard. All right, guys, that was guillotine from guard. And again, thanks for joining me and Joe Brunson on guillotine from guard position.